The Beast released by Michael Botur. Lonely Whangarei computer technician Christopher takes the bratty 11-year-old son of a woman he's trying to impress on a hiking expedition through Northland jungle to bond with the boy as they explore an old plane crash site, until the lads learn that a plane crash isn't the worst thing that can happen in remote forest. The Beast released. The child guffaws like a donkey, and wet Dorito crumbs spackle Christopher's glasses, and he wonders why bother trying to be a stepfather to this 11-year-old at all. Christopher Tan is trying to be tolerant, trying not to label the kid a shithead, but it's hard with ADHD children. He is gifting precious minutes here at the cramped kitchen table, staggering through multiplication homework exercises as a favour to Josh's mother, Ruthie. He's breathing patiently, unruffled on the surface, though he's shaking inside. In his life, Christopher has nurtured Pernstack applications into existence. He's resuscitated dying computers, fixed dilapidated motherboards which appreciate his dedication. He's got better things to do than give up his afternoon, hoping to score points with Ruthie by tutoring some little demon with hair dyed Joker green. Still, have patience, he reminds himself. Just 3 breaths is all it takes to regain composure, his counsellor taught him. Breathing right keeps you off your medication. You are refreshed. You have a new life. You have hope. You have a chance with a normal woman. And you don't want to go back on those numbing, sensory, flattening pills. Christopher polishes his glasses with the tail of his shirt, checks the time, wondering how many more minutes he will have to swallow his frustration for. This uncomfortable, spine-hurting Salvation Army table is the same table he first fixed the bony, chain-smoking woman's computer on, when she was a customer, actually, when he wore his dial-a-nerd golf shirt and fell in love with the bony, freckled single mother of one with the ironing board body as she stood in a cloud of smoke in her leopard print dress, enduring his clumsy banter. Only damn thing that kept him from surrendering to his suicidal depression in his sad flat. Anyway, back to business. Try get some homework down the kid. Number 8, son. Can't tick that off, he tells the twitching boy in the camouflage bush shirt, who has a rather blunt Swiss Army pocket knife in his left hand and a pile of hacked-apart wooden bits which used to be a pencil. What you've done is you've multiplied the hundreds and tens, but not the ones, so Joshy, your answer's not strictly, It's pretty close, though. I was white. Right, Josh. Could you roll your tongue for me? You've got some sort of a deformity, don't you? Your tongue's a little split. We should get that looked at. Christopher twists around to discuss the tongue surgery with Ruthie, who's leaning back against the sink, swirling her Smirnoff can. Ruthie's expression says, yeah, right. Can't afford a tongue specialist. Boring. Josh opens his pocket knife, grabs an apple and begins stabbing holes in the fruit. Christopher has been told he's not allowed to take the knife off the child. Josh's father gave it to him. Apparently it's special. Josh, that's not the way you use bush tools. But I was born in the bush, my daddy said. Your dad's, Christopher's eyes stray to Josh's mother, humming as she moves back and forth through a blue cloud of smoke, putting dishes away, cracking open a fresh drink. Ruthie, swimming through the kitchen, drunk and dulled by downers, won't correct the boy. To win the right to lay with her, one must appease her son, the beastly boy who appears to have dyed his hair from blonde to Joker green to impress his mates. Every visit, Christopher wants to react more firmly when the child is violent and insulting and oblivious and disrespectful. He wants to shout or snap or storm out in frustration like all the previous males who tried to occupy the stepfather seat. Last week, though, Christopher promised his therapist he would never succumb to the caveman call, and they agreed that Christopher has never lashed out at anything and he needs to continue to stifle the impulses. Christopher Tan, IT Fix-It Man, was put on this earth for making, not breaking. From a good, white-wearing Duval family who never stops smiling. Yeah, that's him. He needs to shove any violent urges deep down like packing springy snakes into a can of novelty peanuts. He has delicate fingers for renovating computer hard drives, soldering wires, working Saturday nights in a lamplit garage while the neighbours party and leave him lonely. His slender arms are precise tools built for orienteering equipment, stroking maps, built for charting the angle of the sun through the canopy, skills instilled in Christopher when he was an 11-year-old Boy Scout, same age as Josh, come to think of it. Perhaps it's time he took the child into the woods. They can build a bivouac. Well, after homework, of course. Josh is having trouble with a question involving the weight of an overloaded passenger plane, 20 kgs of luggage per person, and a 230 capacity plane in which 3 people failed to take their seat. Josh is evidently unaware of concepts such as capacity and kilogram, and the child is giggling idiotically now that Christopher has mentioned boning up on units of measurement. Boning, boner, stiffy, Josh brays as Christopher tries to explain how a lack of thrust can cause an arc to descend after a predictable apogee and for a plane to plummet into the forest, or, to use a more local example, how the brand new lawnmower that he'd bought for Ruthie rolled into traffic on Saturday when Josh was distracted playing Crash Simulator on his godforsaken mobile phone. Alright, let's try something else. Babe, you don't mind if he wraps up his homework a little early and we enjoy something special? Babe, lol. Ruthie snorts, scrolling through Instagram with one hand, setting down a plate of fish fingers for Joshy with her other hand. Fill your boots, I don't give a shit. Christopher reaches into his bag, pulls the latest edition of Wingnuts onto the table. He attempts to show the finger-chewing child the one-of-a-kind 1937 Luftwaffe planes on page 12, but after the boy points to a corner of the page and bends it and doubles the bend and then tears the page out, leaving fish finger crumbs in the magazine, it's evident that Joshy wants some kinesthetic learning. Well, that, or he just loves ripping and destroying and eating fingers. He folds a rough paper aeroplane. Plane wrecks are cool. Meow. The ripping the magazine thing is reprehensible, but the child's opinion on plane wrecks is the first agreeable thing that the kid said in ages. Plane wrecks are indeed cool. Here, Joshy, let me help you make it aerodynamic. Christopher reaches around the back of Josh's green head, guides the boy's dirt-stained claw nails to crease the magazine page in 8 places. He considers explaining symmetry to the boy, and then shuts himself up. 3 controlled breaths, Christopher. Leash the beast. You are lucky that you're dating a puti chick in the first place. 22 years of Pinoy tech education and a Masters of Information Technology doesn't matter compared to a big Kano dick. Americano, black, white, islander, that's all these women want. Filipino is lowest in the pecking order, so try hold on to whatever you got, bro. Alright, remember, mangyayari ang lahat ng gusto mo kung patuloy kang maniniwala, Chrissy. Remember that. Josh hurls his folded-up, torn magazine plane at the wall. Its nose crumples and it drops. It hit it, Joshy squeals. It hit a tree and exploded. Christopher is 1% less anxious, now that it doesn't seem like the kid is going to bite him or stab him. He smiles. Teamwork feels good. Well, Joshy, there was actually a plane crash not far from here in the forest. Did 1,000 people die? No, just 2. 2,000? Epic! The kid's eyes turn hungry. No, 2 people, Josh. Dos, duo, rua, if you're, tereo... Christopher turns to Ruthie. I'm not sure what culture your son's from. Is he indigenous? From her unimpressed perch, Ruthie snorts. Josh's ancestors always lived in the bush, his whole lineage. They aren't Maoris, though. Lineage. Eh? It's pronounced lineage, Ruthie? Like, not line edge. Lineage. Ruthie whistles insincerely and blows a blister pack of chlorpromazine off the bench top, throws the meds at Christopher's head. Take your chill pills, Professor, she tells him. Josh belongs in the bush. Not so sure about you. Mum, can I go bow hunting with Dad tomorrow? He said when he gets back from fishing I could. Oh, your father's in jail. Something to do with savagely attacking somebody, according to my research? Christopher wants to scream. Hate to break it to you, I just thought you might be wondering why you turned out so unrefined. Listen, plane crashes. We can go out to the airport and watch planes taking off, and we can chart some arcs of descent. I can get us some graph paper. Josh and Ruthie are almost lost. Look, forget that, alright. Fletcher turboprop model FU 24950. It went down over the Pukenui Forest in 1995. It's in a gully, like a gulch. It's got a lot of decaying leaf matter on it, humus, which gives us an unrivaled opportunity to see soil formation firsthand. Josh is dumbfounded. He takes a fish finger and chews it slow. Sorry, look, what I'm saying is I can show you a genuine plane wreck. Now the boy is grinning for the first time that Christopher can remember, as is the boy's gorgeously hipped, ginger-freckled mother, who tonight he may possibly be allowed to share a bed with, and hopefully make love to protect her and correct her, possibly marry Ruthie years from now, so long as he completes the stepdad stuff. Brown and bronze leaves part with an explosion of droplets as Josh bursts through the forest, snapping sticks, leaving footprints and pavements of moss. The boy's speed somewhat makes up for the time lost this morning, as Christopher urged Josh to put his shoes on before battling over what to pack. The pair left late after midday, putting them at risk of returning in darkness. Ah, well, quality time. An investment for Ruthie. Rotten logs crunch as Josh stomps through the trees. Josh is sprinting because Christopher exaggerated the goriness of the crash. The sight, according to what he remembers from his expedition with the scouts half a lifetime ago, the sight really just looks like broken whiteware dumped in a muddy gully, mossed over and rain softened. The boy needs a motivational focus, though. It's 2:30 now, and this wet jaunt could potentially be 80 minutes in, 80 out. That's the way the numbers look on the topographical map on Christopher's Garmin InReach satellite phone anyway. He bought the damn $699 thing so that he could be as confident as the inner child who years ago trudged this same trail. You all right up there? Christopher calls towards the branches ahead. Bird flutters and wet snapping somewhere, but no response from the battered bush. Lost in fantasies of fatherhood, he realizes he hasn't seen the boy in the 10 minutes since he relayed the old mythology taught by his own scoutmaster years ago. The mythology about the Patupairiki and Turihu, the devious fairies which ancient peoples believed to dwell out here. He got the kid too excited, evidently. Joshy! The earth rises and splats Christopher's cheeks. He is tripped and fallen. Mum said you getted hallucinations. Jeez, you scared me. Josh is perched on a bough like a damn owl, two hands gripping the branch above him as if preparing to swing. The boy's face is innocent but predatory at the same time, like he's watching a mouse sniff a mousetrap. Hallucination from your medication. Mum said you see things. Christopher gets up, wipes both shoulders on both cheeks. I'd rather Ruth hadn't mentioned that. My Hamilton scale mental distress score, as it were, the numbers are relatively benign these days, if you must know. But Mum says you get jumpy like a frog and you see things and you need chill pills to calm down. Chill pills after dealing with you, mate, Christopher's brain says to the backs of his eyeballs. Look, serotonin and norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, I suppose they are known causative agents of visual and auditory hallucinations if the dosage is inappropriate, and frankly, I've taken all the medication that I need to, thank you very much. So the chances the antidepressants or antipsychotics will cause problems are limited, so... look, can we just keep going, please? But Mum says you changed to pills, says the boy in the tree. So maybe you see things as how come you tripped? I tripped because it's been forever since I dared to hike, because I'm not descended from a line of inbred pig hunters like you. Look, just run on ahead to the crash place. It's about another 800 paces. There's a memorial. You can't miss it. Attaboy. While the child darts off, Christopher sucks water from his canteen and chews a palmful of scroggin, the same proportions of raisins, nuts, and chocolate he was taught when he was a lad. After that, he pops a candy into his mouth and one of those Sumpalock salted tamarind Pinoy candies that Josh wouldn't touch. Serenity, bliss, and hope for 10 chewy seconds. There is fluff on the toe of his boot. And there's a beak, too. There's a bird. A bird has just been shredded and devoured by some recent predator. Judging by the blackish blood on the fluff, the bird was munched recently by something fanged. As the sun begins cooling and the time hits 3:40 p.m., thick Cody trees bunch up on one side of the path, crowding out the sun. It's the edge of the ancient crater, just as he remembers from his childhood scout expedition. Down in this very gully, Christopher believes they will find the crash site. God, finally, Christopher tells the kid, pushing one last clump of ferns aside, checking his garment in reach. Latitude 35, 71, 61, 26 degrees. Longitude east 174.26, 3569. Sat phone says it's down the slope a little bit, son. I'm fairly certain. Christopher begins. I mean, sorry for calling you son if it's too presumptuous. Josh just grins. I can't wait, Daddy. Daddy, saints be praised, a breakthrough. There are feathers with dabs of blood on their tips, sticking to Josh's chin, emerald and white, and he wants to lecture the kid about keeping bacteria out of his mouth, but still, Daddy, he won't burst the mood by correcting the kid. They leave the track, Christopher noting the coordinates as they move into wilderness. Ahead, between 3 strong trunks, a banner heralds a parade. No, not a banner, a rectangle of white painted metal draped in the boughs of 2 taraire trees, 4 meters long, 2 feet tall. Beneath it, little pieces of geometry, 1 rust-coloured square, 3 white triangles, ovals of safety glass with ferns growing through the cracks, all of it blackened with moss and mould and lichen. Yet still, unmistakably, they are fragments of a fallen plane. Holy shit, Dad! Language is all Christopher can get out before he goes speechless. He wants to correct the boy's language, but Dad is, again, a heavenly word to hear. So, forget the insults for a bit, forget the dead bird eating and the bad behaviour, he tells himself. Be this kid's stepfather. Be a partner to his mum. Show the world how stable you are, how little you need medication to stand up straight and walk proud. Consider it an honour. The forest smells good. He's not worried about work tickets or invoicing. Standing in muddy boots, spattered socks pulled up his hard calves. Pride pumps through his arteries. Christopher decides that he is the manliest, staunchest Pinoy that he can think of. He is a long way from shouting at the pharmacist, then crying in a curtained-off side room. Life is good. We'll do these trips each weekend, he'll suggest when he gets home, throwing Ruthie's legs around his hips and muscling her to the bedroom. Descending into a leafy trough, Joshy pulls up treasures as he stumbles across them. Red and green insulated wires, fluffy fiberglass, a wheel, dim canopy, lukewarm light, far from the open, a long walk from any road. Watch out, kiddo. There are holes down there. Don't want to fall through the fuselage. Cockpit might swallow us. If there is a plane body beneath them, Christopher can't see it. Instead, he discovers a shiny oblong of orange metal with a sad message screwed into a tree trunk. It says, placed in memory of Paul Cullinane and Gary Nash, loved and missed by all, 22nd November 1995. From underneath 10 inches of wormy, rotting black leaves, Josh is pulling some sort of rubber-edged transparent doormat. It's windshield glass, spiderweb with 1,000 cracks. Josh kicks it till it splatters and shatters into sugar cubes. Christopher wants to caution the boy about disrespecting the dead, but today is supposed to be a day without tellings off, just bonding. Joshy! The boy scampers to him like a Labrador. Christopher is hypnotized by a strange hard corner pointing out from between tree roots. No way! Joshy is on all fours, blackening his knees. "Daddy, we founded the black box." Lo and behold, an orange cuboid with green wires sticking out of it, plus a single worm wriggling between a tangle of roots. The flight data recorder, the heart of the wreckage. Joshy scrapes ancient dirt and moss off with the back of his sacred pocket knife. "Can I keep it?" "Well, there's probably a law against taking material from a crash site, considering it's still the property of..." "Oh, look, of course you can keep it. Put it in your backpack. Listen, son, I've got to go now, and I've got to, how shall I say, nature calls. You safe here by yourself for a minute?" The boy is too entranced to respond. Christopher takes 10 steps over 10 thick roots and veers towards what he believes is south. Christopher lets out a held in for 90 minutes piss, and then Joshy squawks, and the bliss is over. The green-haired boy has spotted a bleached rock melon. Stuck in a tree hollow is a white bowling ball with 3 black finger holes and an old mummified lizard. Is that what I think? Oh wow, oh boy, man, it's his head, eh, Christopher? No denying it. They found a skull, the head having long ago landed inside the rotten tree. In the bottom of the crater pit, Christopher squats on some hard surface. Beneath the leaf litter, the ground groans, though it feels like it'll hold. He unlocks his cell phone, prepares to snap a picture of Joshy, rimmed with a halo of orange sunset, holding a skull with teeth broken, a pink centipede twisting in the eye socket and wriggling into Joshy's open jaws, and the boy is licking bugs out of the skull. Dios cole, that's sick. No, this is way beyond, not out here. This behaviour is repulsive. The boy's eyes turning, his fingers extruding into yellow French fries as he puts his mouth to the old rumbling crotting. The earth drops out. Christopher plummets down through some kind of cheese grater, something metal with glass teeth which clunks as his body collapses through the hole. His legs wet, electric shock radiating up his veins. He's cut an artery open. Or he's pissed his pants. It's impossible to tell. Christopher has fallen through the jagged mouth of the cockpit where there used to be a windshield, his bottom half dangling as if he's ice fishing using his legs as bait. His pants snagged on jagged metal. Bootlaces caught on some small hard switch. One ankle sideways on something he believes is a control panel. 1 foot on a leather seat, a CB radio bumping his knee. Well, the back of his knee, rather. Christopher's leg is twisted. Broken? Possibly. Soil and leaves and hummus fall into the hole. Any more movement, and Christopher could be buried alive. Josh, he says, and gulps. Josh, could you come here momentarily? Higher up the crater, the boy stands obediently, chewing some kind of toffee stick with his sharp teeth. The toffee is olive and accented with yellow, in the shape of a dead, flat lizard. My femur, it's hurt. Take my phone. Follow the blazes? Christopher swallows a throatful of cold vomit, and he nods. Dangling through a windshield, half standing on a ruined leg, Christopher feels the plane roof sucking him down onto a cold metal pillow. Don't sleep, bro. Be a man. Tough it out for Ruthie. He finds a scrap of reserve energy, walks his fingers like spider legs across the plane top, clawing for something to grab onto to pull himself out, and then, oh, thank you, the universe is fair. All the depressed, unstable shit in the past was just the gods getting the bad part of his life out of the way. Josh is here to help. They will be home soon, and Josh is extending a hand, and there is something like a mossy egg in his fist, and Josh is grinning with a juiced gecko dribbling from his teeth, except that Josh is holding a rock? No, that's not what he's holding a rock, and he's aiming a single blow that flattens Christopher's fingers. Christopher sucks in sharp chunks of sleep, swirling down a drain. His crushed biscuit fingers are grey-purple against the pale paint of the fuselage. The pain arrives, and he feels himself die. You stay there. a voice says, struggling to get the words out, its forked tongue sticky with lizard guts. If Christopher's understood correctly, the boy, the beast, has just told him to stay there. Stuck in the cockpit window, surrounded by shifting soil, legs scrabbling for purchase, Christopher stays put. He hears his gasping lungs search for breath. The canopy turns purple and black pours over. Blowflies buzzing. The snap of twigs. The car alarm calls of birds. The needling, bowel-pinching, diarrhea-inducing jag of glassy spikes and some kind of sunburn on his face and the unforgiving metal punishing his dangling leg, now covered in the dirt and rotten branches which have poured into the plain overnight, 50 fresh kilos crushing his lower half. Christopher licks flaking lips, tries to swallow the brick in his throat. It is there, perched like a wallaby on his haunches. Wrists on its knees, claws dangling, jaw hanging slack, while the wet tongue sags and drips like a pink condom. Naked now, skin dark with slime and moss, and the filthy naked boy beast with the nub penis is coming in for a hug. Affectionate, loving, licking, hot and wet, kissing acid onto his face, and, "The fuck are you doing? Get off, get off, get off!" Christopher tries to defend himself with his shattered left hand and thrashes his shoulder, fighting from a space as tight as a toilet bowl, his limbs pinned and painful. Josh, the boy beast, has been licking strips of face bacon with a tiger tongue. Christopher can feel a rectangle of throbbing muscle where the skin has been licked down to the bone while he dozed through an overnight coma. Get off me, stop, stop, stop! The green demon bends its head, surprised, green hair flopping. It hops a couple of feet away, pondering. "But I'm hungry." "Call the bloody cops now, Joshy! Now! Get my satellite phone, it's in my bag, up there! Go!" Beast Josh giggles and licks its lips. It can't help itself. It slinks forward and in one big scoop licks the crusty black blood off Christopher's mashed knuckles. Christopher cries. The boy beast doesn't wait for a no or a yes. It slurps and then bites off a strip of scabby skin the size of a coaster, chewing and looking happy. Christopher's raw arm spasms as he tries to tuck it safely by his side. He slips an inch down into the cockpit, pinning his shoulders, and cries again. "I can take care of them for you, sir, if you're not using them." "The fuck are you talking about?" Christopher sobs, the melted world swirling around him. "Using what?" "Your fishy fingers." The boy's smile spreads so wide that his ears disappear. He darts forward, sinks his teeth into Christopher's left forearm. He tears off a tablespoon of flesh. The bite crater is white fat, then it blushes red, and then Christopher falls into the cockpit, half a metre deeper, landing on his knees, granules of glass settling in his hair. He's fully inside the plane now. It's cramped, and there's a hard joystick jagging into his back, and his hands and legs scream, but the relief is blissful opium. Above, where the sky should be, appears the face of the bush beast. A switch flips, a flash flood of hatred. "When I get out of here, I'm gonna fucking smack you so hard, kid." Joshy looks disappointed, and he disappears. Wait, come back, I... Just listen. Christopher gulps, come back. The... whatever it is has half hopped away to rummage in the bushes, and now it hops back to the plain pit, spilling soil and twigs, and it sniffs, and it revolves its neck most of the way round, watching a fantail. It licks its lips and blinks yellow cat eyes. "You want me to stay?" The green freak child stays. Not that it's always close, and not that it's a child. Flies hum and robins pull worms from the earth, and trees creak and ferns nod, and sunlight needles through the canopy from the east for the first few hours, and then directly above. Christopher wonders how soon the rain will come and whether he will drown. He can't even write a suicide note, because his superwatch is broken. The sky blackens briefly. There's thunder in the east. He won't last the week. The boy beast fills the day, hopping around branches, disappearing up trees, climbing vines, falling and dangling, dropping 3-4 meters at a time, bouncing on springy bones. Except not always. Twice, between naps, between hunting expeditions, the creature sneaks up, dips its grinning face inside the cockpit and takes an agonizing lick, peeling back Christopher's jacket and ripping skin like wallpaper from Christopher's sweaty black shoulders, his neck, his cheek and chin, while Christopher's head thrashes and he weeps, then collapses back into sleep, listening to the boy chew and swallow and scuttle off. It won't be licking soon. Christopher is going to be skinned and nibbled to death and then swallowed. He is being eaten alive hour by hour. He will never see his models again, his gaming laptop, his Warhammer figurines, and he will never see Ruthie. Ruthie, who should have told him what was going to happen once he took the beast to the bush. Ruthie, who's got a big surprise coming to her. After lunch, brown hunks of dirty fluff flow out of the black interior of a gutted puriri tree. Christopher, awakened from his third delirious doze of the day, watches the spinach-green Josh thing perched on a distant log turn its head like a chameleon. Its black eyes roll backward, the bottom eyelids rising. The jaw drops open. A pink javelin snatches a bat from the flock. The green demon pulls the forked pink tongue and furry beast back into its mouth and chews twice, as if breaking a breath mint between its teeth, and swallows, licking fur from its lips. The light fades to west, dirtying sky, a thunderclap, sunset soon, and icy rain. He's still in shock, but not numb enough to sleep through the coming night. Hypothermia will set in after dark. He'll be too weak to fight while the creature licks his head away like a popsicle. As indigo flows into the forest, Christopher sucks the stickiness out of his throat and calls the boy beast over. Hey, sorry about before, kiddo. Listen, bring me some of whatever you're eating. How about it? The creature bounds across the forest floor, circling the crater, treading the roof of the fuselage and then arriving, frustratingly, behind him, where Christopher can't quite turn and look. "Really?" says the excitable thing. "You want some? It's good." Christopher nods. The boy bounds away and peers inside the tree hollow, spits his pink tongue, brings back some morsels of bat meat to share. "Come closer, Josh. Bring it right in. I can't reach." Spilling dirt, the Josh thing hops around the fuselage, circling to find a place to lay the food in front of Christopher. "Closer, Josh, get in here." The fuselage moans and creaks. The slimy, dirty boy beast looks down anxiously and relinquishes the bat meat. He's been counting down the Fibonacci sequence and now he's hit 0. And Christopher attacks. Concentrating his fury in his good right arm, Christopher seizes the kid's hair, tugs the scalp till he rips the roots. The pain screaming in his cheeks and back and legs and hands is a whip of steel wire, but Christopher has the little shit trapped and he grabs Josh's balls and pulls the little miscreant half down into the cockpit. They scratch and scramble and bite, but Christopher is bigger and he is bending the boy beast against the dashboard, mashing a fistful of leaf, hummus, dirt in the beast's lips, and then Christopher manages to push a thumb up under the jawbone of the kid and squeeze like he's trying to pop bubble wrap while, strangely, watching from another planet, he sees Josh's small hand clutching his father's pocket knife, nipping and scraping at Christopher's right biceps, cutting a little, but weakening, dying. The kid's head turns purple as a blueberry. Christopher's tense fingers break through wet gristle and cartilage till they meet in a vice pinch, the neck crushed. The kid is splayed across the console, his throat exposed. Christopher claims the pocket knife. The first stab bounces off hard rubbery skin, It's a bad angle. Working in his tiny erect cockpit space without room to stand, Christopher, applying his accurate fix-it fingers, using the last starved strength that his twisted legs will give, Christopher holds the butter knife blunt blade firm and steady with his pinky finger and chooses a better angle and aims for the air and sinks the blade into the soft space between the sternocleidomastoid and the jaw. The kid wakes for a moment, blonde again, dirt-free, innocent, shape-shifting into something sympathetic. And then the kid spasms, arms protesting feebly, and Christopher uses everything in him to kneel on the kid's flailing arms as he hacks. The blade can't saw much, though it stabs well. Christopher hacks and rips and wriggles metal inside muscle, the blade catching on bone and tendon and teeth, and he succeeds in severing 6 inches of neck after 10 minutes, after another 8 inches with another quarter hour, and then, after gauging whether he is likely to be attacked by the suddenly waking up boy, Christopher tosses the knife down into the rubbish pit that has become the cockpit, positions a foot up on the boy beast's weeping neck, and wrestles the head until the last violin strings of tendon and the final chunks of cervical vertebra are holding on. The spine is a ruptured hose, coughing juices, but the head detaches with a sucking spurt, surprisingly heavy, heavier than any bowling ball, and Christopher is cackling with relief as he bashes a hole in the cockpit's former windscreen and shoots a perfect three-pointer through the cavity and listens to the thud of 10 kilograms of skull and meat doofing onto the forest floor. Christopher pulls himself out into a dawn, a birdsong, cicadas waking up, a flood of joyous relief. He has risen from the dead. Can't believe it's taken all night. His eyes must have adjusted. Time behaving funny. Everything unreal without those burdensome meds. God, what is today? Monday? Fuck, he's hungry. Christopher grabs a hunk of beast hair, tosses the trophy further up the slope, then begins prowling on all fours to find his backpack. Yellow Kathmandu Outdoorsman 360, halfway up the crater. With a boot on it? Yeah, his bag's got a boot on it, a boot with a high-vis orange leg protector. Above, waiting, 4 rescue men in 4 positions around the rim of the wreckage. But the 5th isn't a man. The 5th is Ruthie. Thank Christ, she's wearing an oversized t-shirt and little on her legs, as if she's been hauled out of bed without notice, and she's tobogganing on her knees as she slides towards Christopher and the headless monster at the bottom of the pit. No, you're getting your words mixed up, dude. Monster for... It's just you, Christopher, the only one left alive, and there is a headless monster at the bottom of the pit. And they will understand. Search and rescue, peer down. That's not a... Is it? One of them mutters to his team, stepping forward, slipping in leaf muck, landing on his ass. Is that a resus dummy? Ruth is moaning and pawing and tearing up handfuls of leaves and saying, My boy. I stopped it for you, babe. Christopher calls. I got it fixed. Help me out, you guys. You gotta... The rescue men reach for their resuscitation dummy, upend their bags for adrenaline needles and bandages and sat phones, and they tuck the corpse's hands delicately by its sides, and they unfold a cloth stretcher to nurse the body onto. Not that it needs nursing. Christopher wants to tell them, come on, you guys, the beast is dead. The mission successful. We can relax now. We just need a hot meal and a bath, and maybe just a pill or 2, because my brain is not... Well, my brain just feels a bit dry, is all. Just feels a little tired. We need a slap-up meal of bacon and eggs and a hot cup of kapeng barako, and he'll be right. The tree tops are shaking now. The treetops are shivering leaves that rain on Christopher's skin. He's hypothermic, he realizes with a laugh. He's boiling on the outside. He pulls his shirt off. See, the bloody brat bit me. My baby boy, my fucking baby. Ruthie takes a direct look into Christopher's eyes, understands what has happened, and punches. Christopher's nose explodes. She pummels and claws and scratches for 10 quick seconds before pouncing on the stretcher, while the stretcher bearers squawk, don't, as she pulls the body down, collapsing the stretcher into the leaf soil, and the head rolls down the rim of the crater and settles in front of Christopher, wobbling to a standstill, the tongue out accusingly. A normal tongue. Tiny, actually. The tongue of a boy, not a beast. Tight skin. Dimples. The eyes wide open. Stiff resin. Hundreds of blue bottles, drinking the juices, and when they crawl away, brown irises lie there on hard white cue balls. Nothing like cat eyes. And he has ordinary fingers, harmless cream fingernails. Yellow hair with daubs of dark gold. I was, come on you guys, it was biting me, eating me, it was... Ruthie, on her knees in the mush, is screaming that Christopher is off his fucking medication, you murdering piece of shit, motherfucking mental insane nerd. And Christopher, looking around the rescuers for a soulmate with a brain, wants to protest, wants to debate this thing with someone intelligent, wants to walk it back. He wants a sympathetic ear to whom he can explain that he is clearly not the real monster. No, he was assaulted, he was bitten, but Ruthie is cradling the head of her child and rolling in the dirt, and a rescuer is fingering his earpiece and unbuttoning handcuffs and saying, yep, got visuals on him. And psych incident is the next word he's saying, and yep, applying restraints now. And the cops are coming.